So, here's the thing about Thief. It kind of ends with the main guy just erasing a lot of the magic in the world. But if you really think about it, there had to be a time before the glyphs, right? And there's no real rule that says, oh, the glyphs will never return, magic will never return. So, with a developing city, wouldn't a much, much older Master Thief wouldn't it be possible to just bring him back? Because various artifacts around the world that have not yet been collected by the people in the order that collected the glyphs. And it's reaching a critical point where magic is returning to this major city, right? So the Salt Master comes back. All the people that got messed around, that had to find new jobs after what happened and had to maintain their order in different ways, all these various factions, they hear he's back and they come together and all kinds of political intrigue happens. So it's a potent idea for a reality, like 20 to 30 years back, 30 to 40 years of development has happened in this new city, this newly developed bigger city, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the question. How would you develop a Thief game? An actual Thief 4 game, not just Edgelord reboot. Personally, I think it should be voxel-based, and it should embrace sonic ray tracing. So basically you cast rays to figure out the sound. You figure out the sound using the walls, whereas in most games, apparently you have various different separate areas of sound. And by using that, you get a more dynamic, more advanced sound. Nowadays, higher-end headsets are developed in that way. Of course, AG audio is a very annoying thing when you're trying to use your wireless headsets in games, and it's like if I disable AG audio in my Windows, does it stay disabled? If I disabled AG audio when it's linked to my Windows, does it stay disabled when I'm using it with my tablet? Like, what's happening there, right? Which you would think, oh, it's a high-end headset, but I've got Sony headsets because of the bass, and both my 910N and my Ultwares don't use the Type-C to provide sound. They just switch to charging when I have the Type-C on them. So, that's a major problem. The next thing is, do you superpower your protagonist? Because your protagonist, on the one hand, you want the feel of a thief, but also, well, it's 34 years of this guy who's got experience with magic going around the world, presumably fetching all kinds of magic things. So, I personally feel like his hands should be capable of low-level telekinesis. Personally, I'd like to see a ring that kind of levitates things in front of it. So, instead of doing a stupid animation, he just magics his will onto a door and just subtly pulls and closes and whatever. And it's a new ability that he gets. This new artifact, right? And using that sort of ability, that would give you a new system to play with, while also not massively changing the appeal of Thief, because it is a Thief simulator. Also, I think the bad guys should be able to manipulate the earth around them using magic, which provides the ability to create massive underground infrastructures. Sure. Right. So, the ability to make massive tunnels underground. If that's a massive thing, if that's a thing that helps you absorb the smog from the city and redirect it down into the catacombs, and various catacombs, there's monsters down there, and that's a whole plot line. But while also giving your thief something to explore, giving you loops in a level, because you want to have it be an open world, in the sense of here's loop, you explore through multiple paths, not just, stupid district, here's a district, here's slightly stronger enemies here and there. That's not what Thief is, right? And I think it would provide a very, very, very dangerous enemy, because the smaller the space, which is where you're at your best, the more dangerous your enemy is, because he can move the earth around. The larger the space, the more exposed you are. But the slightly easier it is to avoid your enemy's attacks. So it's a whole thing there, right? And how you manage that would be a massive question in terms of the creativity of how you make bosses. Yeah, so you bring back this thief now, Gerald, whatever his name is, and he's a master thief, and he's got all these relationships with various factions from back when he was very, very young, but now he's old, but now because he's old, he's got all this experience, but because he's got all this experience, like, he's used to doing things in a certain way, so he has to adapt to the environment, adapt to the new tricks and whatever. Also, I'm not sure about lockpicking. I think if you give him a ring and he lockpicks, yeah, sure, but also, I think that would be an inherent skill, so you should have like an activate in the settings, activate lockpicking, activate automatic lockpicking and automate. Manual versus automatic should be an option in the settings, because of course it should. And obviously you want to explore what has been developed, like Hitman. Hitman has a lot of approaches to how he kills people, so Thief should have a lot of approaches to how you can accomplish the task of sneaking around. Yeah.